What up, guys? It's your boy R is back at it again with another video. So yesterday I was thinking about scaling and how much more powerful Goku is or would be now if Super basically didn't trash scaling and threw it out a window. So I'm gonna be scaling from Dragon Ball Z from when Goku was in the Boost Saga. I'm gonna be scaling from that point forward. I'm also gonna touch into some potential strength feats and gravity feats that I touched upon in my other video, my inconsistency video. If you don't get what I mean, you can go ahead and watch that beforehand so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. But just so that you understand, I am not going to be going over power levels in this video. I have no way to calculate power levels because the multipliers for Super Saiyan God and everything else is like they haven't explained it. Like, we still don't even know what type of multiplier Super Saiyan God gave Goku and exactly what Super Saiyan God really is. So I'm just going to be going over the scaling, which is basically how many times more powerful Goku is now compared to the way he was prior, and you'll see the rest once we get into the video. So starting off, Goku this is again Buu Saga Dragon Ball Z. This would be a 1. Okay, so 1 is the lowest common denominator, the first form that we're comparing to. So this Goku would be a 1. Now, Super Saiyan Goku is 50 times stronger than base Goku. So you just do the 1 and you multiply it by 50. So this Super Saiyan Goku would be on the scale, on Goku's own scale, would be a 50. Hopefully that makes sense, because I'm going to keep going on from this point forward. I'm not going to be really explaining it. I'm just going to be telling you my calculations and what I multiply by what, so that you get what I'm talking about. So of course that means that Super Saiyan 2 would be a 100. Again, it's a times 100 multiplier, so you just do the math. Super Saiyan 3 would be a 400 on the scale. Again, you do the math, just multiply that by 4. And so this is where things get interesting, because base Vegito in the Buu Saga, we know that base Vegito is stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but we don't know how much stronger. So I had to put a plus at the end and leave it at 400. And the reason why I'm leaving it at 400 is because I don't know what the multiplier is, and I'm not going to make multipliers up. The only thing I can say for sure is that Vegito is 400 plus times stronger than base Goku, and he's still stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now, Vegito in Super Saiyan would be a 20,000 times on the Goku scale. So, considering the fact that he's 20,000, right? Because that you do 50 times the, what number did I have before? That was up 400. You do the 400 times 50, that gives you this 20,000 plus number. And given that feat, and I'm sorry that the number is a little bit hard to see, but it says 20,000 plus. Basically, if you don't understand why Super Saiyan God would have to be a 20,000 times plus power increase for Goku, is the reason why I showed Vegito in the last 2 slides. It's something that we can compare to. So again, remember when Goku got 2-shotted by Beerus on King Kai's planet, right? Goku said that Vegito, even if Goku and Vegeta, he said that both of them fused, right? And they became Vegito, that would not be strong enough to beat Beerus, right? So that means that when he went Super Saiyan God and he was going toe to toe with Beerus, that he would have to be stronger than Beerus. Stronger than Vegito. His Super Saiyan God state would have to be stronger than Vegito. There's no question, there's no debate. Otherwise, they would have went Vegito and went toe-to-toe with Beerus. But they didn't do that, yet this Goku was. Now again, mind you, I can't give an exact multiplier for Super Saiyan God, right? So the only thing I can do is, yet again, leave him at 20,000 and put a plus at the end, because I do not know what the multiplier is for Super Saiyan God. That's the shitty part. So don't sit, like when I go to other values later, that doesn't mean that those numbers for Super Saiyan with God Essence and all those other numbers are stronger than Super Saiyan God. I'm just saying that when he first unlocked the state, right, and he went into it, that means that he was at least 20,000 times plus stronger than the base Goku that we're comparing to from the start. Now, Goku, after fighting Beerus and his God state ran out, went into base. But Beerus stated, right, that he absorbed his Super Saiyan God state into base. And this is the reason why I said the scaling and Super Saiyan God, because they never really explained what it is the part that gets confusing. Because again, if Beerus said that he absorbed Super Saiyan God into his state, right, into his form, but if he absorbed it into his state and into his base form and Super Saiyan and everything else like that, then why the fuck can he still go Super Saiyan God? That's the part that gets a little bit confusing. However, because we know that he absorbed it, we can say that before Super Saiyan God state, when he first unlocked it, is equivalent to his base form with God Essence, right? They're equal to each other. If you want to see some videos explaining that, I'll put that in the description down below. But essentially, right, they're both equal. So I still can't give you any more multipliers. I can't change this number because I don't know how much his power was multiplied by. But we still know at a bare minimum that his base form with God Essence is still 20,000 times stronger or more than his base form from Z. Now that we've gotten all past that crap, right? We do 50 times the 20,000, which will give you the 1 million value that we see here. So in his Super Saiyan state with God Essence, that is 1 million plus on the scale. With Super Saiyan 2, that is 2 million plus on the scale. With Super Saiyan 3 with God Essence, that is 8 million plus on the scale. Now again, because we do not know the multiplier for Super Saiyan Blue, we have no idea what it is, right? The only thing we know is that Super Saiyan Blue is stronger than Super Saiyan 3. That's the only thing that we know, right? So Super Saiyan Blue would have to be at least 8 million plus times stronger than Goku and Z. It would have to be that much time stronger. We know it's stronger than Super Saiyan 3 with God Essence, but because I don't know the multiplier, we're going to do the same thing we did before, and we're going to leave this value at 8 million, because I'm not multiplying some headcanon numbers. I'm not going to do any of that shit. I'm leaving it as is because I can't make any further calculations past that point. What I can do, though, is because he went Kaioken, and this is in the tournament, right? When he was in the tournament and he was fighting Hit, this was like Universe 6 versus Universe 7. When he went against Hit, he used times 10 Kaioken. And we know that Kaioken literally just multiplies your power by whatever multiplier you went for Kaioken. So this would have to be 80 million plus on the Goku scale. It has to be, because it's a clean scale upwards. So we multiply that by 10, you get that 80 million value. Now, this is a screenshot from when Goku was fighting Hit. And we know that from the tournament that he had to use Kaioken times 10 to beat Hit, or equal Hit at least, in the tournament, because he didn't actually technically beat him. So what happens after that is that he gets well, not even a little bit, he gets a lot stronger, and he hires Hit to assassinate him. So that means that when Hit and Goku were fighting, they were fighting 100% seriously. At one point, Hit actually killed Goku. The only reason why he came back to life is because he fired a ki blast upwards and used that same ki blast to resuscitate him, right? So after that, later on, I think in the next episode after he revived himself, right, he fought Hit and he beat him while they were both serious. But this time he did not use Kaioken times 10. He didn't use Kaioken at all. So that means at the bare minimum, Goku increased his power by 10 times, and this has to be a fact because not only did he not use Kaioken, but he beat a stronger version of Hit with more techniques and more practice, right? Who got a better understanding of his own power, and he beat that version of Hit that was serious. So he would have to be at bare minimum at least 10 times stronger than that. So that's where this 800 million value on the scale is coming from. Now, and in the next tournament, or I think the 1 hour special, he's supposed to be using Kaioken again. But we already know that he can go Kaioken times 10. So I'm going to go and scale up to the maximum power that I know he can go to without making up shit, right? So if he were to use Kaioken times 10 right now in this tournament, right? That is, again, another 10 times clean increase from his Super Saiyan Blue form that we just saw in the previous slide. So, that means that his Kaioken times 10 with Super Saiyan Blue would have to be 8 billion plus on the Goku scale. So that you're understanding. All the way from fucking Z until now, right? If we assume that scaling was perfect, which we know it's not, which is the reason why you can't really use this as some official evidence for anything, because the writers basically said fuck scaling and Super. This is a what if they actually kept scaling the way it was. Goku would have to be at bare minimum in his Kaioken Super Saiyan Blue state right now, would have to be at bare minimum 8 billion times stronger than base Goku and Z. I know, it is kind of a crazy concept to think of, but it gets a little bit crazier when you actually go into the feats that Vegeta and Goku could both accomplish with this massive of an increase, right? Not with Kaioken though, obviously, because Vegeta can't go Kaioken. He could probably learn it, but that's something for another video. That's not something I'm going to be covering for any reason. Anyway, gravity and strength calculations, right? So we're going to go back to the same weight that we used in the inconsistencies video, where we said that Vegeta's weight is 200 pounds, and this is assuming his height and his build. So his height is around 5'6", 5'7", and his because of his build, like he has a very muscular build, on average his weight would be around 200 pounds, right? So all the way back after the Frieza saga, before the Android saga starts, like in between after the Frieza saga and before the Android saga, we see Vegeta training in 400 times Earth's gravity. 400 times. This is before he even unlocks Super Saiyan, right? So if you multiply that by 200 pounds, that's 80,000 pounds that he could lift of his own weight with no God Essence. So we can say that 400 G's equals 1, which on the Vegeta, this is on the Vegeta scale. So this is the comparable version that we're using for Vegeta. This is his 1. Goku had his 1. This is Vegeta's 1 that we're comparing to. Okay, this is with no God Essence. So base Vegeta with God Essence would have to be 20,000 times stronger. Probably a lot more than that, but because, again, Akira Toriyama doesn't give a shit about power scaling, really, or power levels past the Frieza saga, Cell saga. He doesn't really give a shit about any of that. So, given that knowledge, and we know that Vegeta is relativistic to Goku, we know for a fact that he had to have increased his power by at least 20,000 times with God Essence, because they're both relativistic for that. Now, if you want even more evidence, okay, remember, when Goku unlocked his Super Saiyan God state, remember, he eclipsed Vegeta in power. We know this, like he eclipsed Vegeta. And Vegeta wanted to get a lot stronger, so he went to go secretly train with Whis without Goku's knowledge. When Goku finds out that Vegeta was training with Whis, he went to Beerus's planet, and as soon as he starts talking to Vegeta, one of the first things that he says is that, wow, Vegeta, you've gotten a lot stronger. As a matter of fact, you're stronger than me now. So this is not a fallacious claim for me to state that they're relativistic and they got around the same power increase. Because, yet again, Vegeta was stronger than Goku after he unlocked his God state. So that's how much more powerful Vegeta was. So they're around the same level, but giving this scaling, Vegeta will be slightly stronger in this scenario. Okay? So if we do that 20,000 times scale, and we multiply that by 400 Gs, and we can do this because, again, when you increase your power, your feats, your power, your strength, all of that, your speed, it increases in a proportional rate. It's a perfect scale upwards. So we can say that he can do 20,000 times more gravity training than he could before he unlocked Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, God State, all of that. So that means that in base, this is in base with God Essence, Vegeta could do 8 million times Earth's gravity. 8 million Gs. That is how much he could do with his God Essence, again, assuming that scaling was consistent through Z. So, given all the knowledge that we know from prior that I just went over, right? If we do the 200 pounds times how many Gs he could do, that means that he could lift 1.6 billion pounds of his own weight. That is how much he could lift if he were to do 8 million Gs, okay? So, if you take that number, you divide by a ton, which is 2,000 pounds. That's 800,000 tons. Think about how much weight that is. That's how much he could do in his base form. If I multiply that by Super Saiyan, right, that's 40 million tons. Because 50 times increase. Yet again, if he goes into Super Saiyan 2, which is 100 times increase, that is 80 million plus tons. That is how much of his own weight he could lift if he were to do gravity training now if scaling was consistent through Z. Now that we got that out the way and we updated that information, because I figured some people wanted to know what this would be like with God Essence. This is your answer. This is how much more he could do with God Essence. Okay? Let's go into how much Goku could lift, and therefore Vegeta, excluding the Kaioken stuff. If we were to take the previous calculations that we did in the inconsistency video. So, remember, Goku could lift 400 tons on King Kai's planet. And we know this is because he had 40 tons on 10 tons on each of his limbs. So 10 tons on his arms and his legs. And King Kai's planet, the gravity there is 10 times greater than that of Earth's. So that means if you do the 40 tons and you multiply that by the 10, which is the gravity multiplier for King Kai's planet, that's 400 tons. Right? So that's how much he could lift on King Kai's planet. So that means that 400 tons equals 1 on the Goku scale. So Goku, with his scale 1, can lift 400 tons. That is how much he can lift. That's all the way back in Z, remember. So that means, remember, that base Goku equals 20,000 with God Essence. So, if we do the 400 tons times the 20,000, right, that means that he can lift 8 million tons now in base with God Essence. That is how much he could lift. Now, let's go into how absurdly more high this can go. This goes to very ridiculous values, which is probably the reason why the writers and Akira basically just said, fuck the scaling, because these numbers get a little bit out of hand. But basically, 8 million tons times the Super Saiyan transformation, which is times 50, would be 400 million tons. Okay? So 400 million plus tons times Super Saiyan 2 would be 800 million tons. You multiply that value by Super Saiyan 3, which is just 4 times greater, that's 3.2 billion plus tons. Now, if you multiply that by Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10, from the tourney, that's 32 billion fucking tons. Plus, okay? These are low balls because I don't know what the calculations are, or the multipliers, I mean, for Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue. I don't know what the calculations for. These are actually low balls. So this is 32 billion already. And if we do that times the Super Saiyan Blue after the tourney when he was fighting Hit, and therefore after that, that's 320 billion tons. And it gets even more out of hand because he can go Kaioken times 10 on top of that, which would be stronger than the one from the tourney. So that would be 3.2 trillion plus tons. That is how much weight this man could lift now if the scaling was consistent from Z, which is 6.4 plus quadrillion pounds. That is how much in theory he could lift at max power low ball. Now I can't do speed calculations because fuck me, they don't go over the speed at all. All we know is that his speed would at the bare minimum would be quadrillion times faster than light. Maybe even sextillions or beyond that. But I wanted to go over numbers that I could actually qualify and give you reasoning and explanation and show you the math and the logic behind. So this is what the feats that Vegeta and Goku would be capable of in terms of strength and gravity if the scaling from Z was consistent. So I got that out the way. I'm gonna drop my nerdiness just a tad. This is going to be end of the video. I just want to do something short, give you guys something to watch, since I don't believe there's going to be an episode this upcoming Saturday for me to review, or Sunday, whenever it comes out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or anything else that you want to ask me about down below in regards to these calculations, please let me know and I'll try to answer them as best as I possibly can. Again, these numbers don't really mean much because the scaling in Super are absolutely trash. This was basically like a what if type of video, but I figured it'd still be interesting to look at. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for all the support that I've gotten the past couple of days. I just crossed over the 80 subscriber mark, so thank you to all the new subscribers and everyone else has been supporting and liking my videos, sharing, and all that other stuff. I appreciate the support. And with that, I am heading off. Ours out.